Hey, let's take care of that. Peace. Welcome to the Real HD Show. I was talking for a little bit without a mic, but we back. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to the good, the bad, the ugly of our people celebrated with freedom music. We are the higher discussion. The Real HD stands for higher discussion. And we want to have just that with you this evening. So we want you to tap in. We want you to like, share, subscribe, comment, turn on all your notifications. So every time we have a Real HD show, you too can tune in and have a higher discussion. We are blasting off to many, many channels. You can catch us on 5 Facebook channels. You can catch us on YouTube. You can catch us on Twitch. You can catch us on Instagram, Kick, Daily Motion, Trovo Live. We are everywhere you want to be. We are the Real HD, and we might just be moving to 108 Soul Sirius FM. In the works. It's in the works. We'll let you know. We will let you know. But until then, we want you to do this. Go support Bats Footwear. That's right, Bats Footwear, revolutionary soul technology, straight from NOLA. That's right, our brothers and sisters down in New Orleans has put this shoe together. Great for the, uh, great for protecting the knee. One, two, 1, 2. Okay, great. We're back. Gives you all the support you might need in those areas. Go, please support Bats Footwear. You can find them on Amazon. Tell them the Real HD show sent you. Might get you a nice little discount on something you like. They're supposed to be like a cross between Vans and Hirachis. You're not paying the super duper, markup price while getting super quality footwear. So go check them out. Bats Footwear. Tell them the Real HD show provided that, you know, procurement for you. All right. So as we get out of that and we move into this, what that can't miss, we're talking about our ancestors and elders blueprint. Here we go. Yeah, man. So we have a really dope Ancestors and Elders blueprint tonight. And it's going to take me a little while to find it because I don't know if I titled it. I hope I did. Um, and it's worth it for the family to keep aware of and to keep in their sights and um, in their peripheral and in your traditions. And that is the fact that there's a brother by the name of Philip Downing. Don't know if anybody's ever heard of him, but he's got some real dope things happening. And older brother, he's not with us anymore. He's an elder, he's an ancestor, but he has some spectacular contributions to the people. Spectacular. And by that, what do I mean? I mean, he invented the mailbox. That's right, abolitionist, railway car inventor, super duper brilliant inventor. I'm gonna get this vid up right now, and I hope all this the tech gremlins cooperate. Hopefully, we got Gizmo instead of Stripe operating with us tonight. So we are gonna rock out with that particular one. I'm gonna share my screen just so that you guys can see what I see. You can't see what I can see. Shout out to Heavy D, right? So we got that locked. We got the audio locked. Is that up on the screen? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get on the screen. All right. It's coming. So we want to make sure that we got that blasting off for you. It's taking a sweet time to load up. And there it is. So let's give this what it needs. and let's go. All right, we're going to take it on back. All right, seems like that's not cracking. So, one monkey don't stop no show. We'll just do this. Okay. And we're going to get you into it. I will just have to look for it now. But until I look for it, here we go. Let me change to that 1 2 1 2. All right, there we are. There we are, superstar. Okay, I'm gonna switch this around. All right, so you seeing me, you hearing me, and we are ready to go. So, if everybody patiently moves with me, this will be up and in your eardrums in half a second. 1 2 1 2. All right. Seems like my audio is going. And where did I put that joker? Okay. Yeah, because this brother was really dope, and I wanted you to check him out and check out his indelible contribution to the people. Um, nope, not there, not there, not there, not there. Okay. So we're gonna get another joint of his online because I pulled up plenty. All right. And we'll just grab one and put it on like that. And, and okay. So while that's loading up, this brother was the inventor of the mailbox, and he didn't get any credit for it. So as soon as that loads up, as soon as that gets rocking and rolling, we will play it. Um, yeah, we're gonna start that over for you.
One, if you wanted to mail a letter, you had to walk to the post office. What? Every single time. Then Philip B. Downing changed everything. On October 27th, 1891, this black inventor from Rhode Island patented the street letterbox, that blue mailbox you see on every corner. His design included a hinged door that protected mail from rain and snow, making public mail drop-off practical for the first time in American history. His father, George T. Downing, a prominent abolitionist who worked alongside Charles Sumner and managed the U.S. House of Representatives dining room. But here's the twist. For decades, history gave credit to a white man named Roy J. Lehman, who patented a similar device years later. It wasn't until 1989 that the U.S. Postal Service finally issued a commemorative stamp honoring Philip Downing as the true inventor. Oh, and that wasn't his only invention. A year earlier, he'd patented the railway switch that let trains be controlled from the platform. In 1917, he patented an envelope moistener. Every time you drop a letter in that blue box, you're using a black man's invention. Follow for more hidden inventors and share this if everyday innovation matters.
I'm sick of serial killer rap. All you talk about is getting money.
All right. So that was Philip Downing, the inventor of the mailbox and the inventor of the railway switch to operate train cars. October of 1891, patented the street letterbox. So, and even though we have email, we owe him a super duper thanks because all of the mail that your mama and your aunties and your daddies and your uncles and your grandpas got when everybody was at war and everybody was, trying to communicate cross country, you can thank him. He also invented the secret compartment so that mail won't be stolen once mail was put in the mailbox. Because it wasn't the first time somebody put a mailbox out, but he invented that secret door where once you put the mail in the mailbox, it can't be retrieved again. If someone stuck their hand in the mailbox, they would just be hitting like a metal surface. It trapped the mail, compartmentalized it, and moved it to a place. And then, of course, you heard that there was a Anglo-Saxon man named Gurney. He tried to take credit for that invention some years later because he invented something similar. And then, of course, it took them coming all the way up into the 1990s to actually invent a stamp that gave Philip Downing the true credit for inventing the blue mailbox. Salute to you, brother, for everything you've done, for everything you've paved the way for, and everything that you have contributed to our folks from the Real HD Show. Y'all see my next New York takeover, you know what I'm saying? Gotta have that, celebrating them Knicks that just took over and did their thing, and now they're in the NBA Finals after 27 years, So we gotta pay homage to that as we move along. We will update you on some news regarding that, and you got our news regarding our elders and ancestors blueprint. And now let's get into our AAT report. So this is our AAT report, our healthy, wealthy, wiser report for a brand new you, coming straight to you from the Real HD Show. Anything on the land, under the sea, and in the air that will make us healthy, we're going to feature it because we need soul and cell power that was robbed from us, along with many of our loved ones, over the pandemic. And we just don't want to talk about it. We want to do something about it. So first, let's get into a oldie but goodie, a veteran of the show, talking that health, giving us that health vibe. Let's go into Maccabee on the Real HD Show. Here we go.
Let's get some fast food.
When we say fast food, people think burger, but nature can take it a little further, faster than any food that you cook. Follow Maccabee, take a look. Real fast food, what a guana. Look how fast you can peel a banana. Look how fast you peel the mango. 3, 2, 1, go. Real fast food, check the berry. Don't have to peel them, not necessary. As long as the fruit is ripe and ready, on your mark get steady. Sure, peel the the oranges, cut the avocado, slice the cucumber, cut up the tomato, get the kiwi, cut it in a quarter, bust the coconut, drink the water, scrape the jelly out, eat it after. Had the dessert, main course and the starter. In abundance for your indulgence, food with substance, full up of nutrients, natural packaging for your convenience, ram-packed with wholesome ingredients. Yes, you know it's the truth. The healthiest fast food is veggies and fruits.
And there you have it, Maccabee on our AAT in the place to be. I sound like an old school MC. But anyhow, he busts us down with some really great information. Make the new fast food fruits and veggies. Yeah, let's do that. Let's make the new fast food fruits and veggies. Now, ain't nobody perfect. Everybody got their little tick. Everybody got their little trick. Everybody got their little thing that they're not perfect with. But we want to move towards a fruit based, veggie based, if you're going to have a fast food, something that you just pick up and eat real quick, make it fruit, and not all the, super hyper manufactured foods that are out there that mean us no good. They're just, putting, putting, putting weight on us, putting all these diseases on us and in us. And we want to talk about that right here on the Real HD Show. Here we go. That's right. I'll run it again because this is supposed to be like an advisory of foods that will keep the weights on. And I guess the sister's basically talking about dairy. Dairy is going to be an inflammatory product that keeps the weight on. So if we could stay away from dairy, especially in the hotter months, and just period, dairy is just not good for us, just in general. Then we'll be better off. I didn't say it. You see, all people, all health conscious folks all over the place are saying these very things. Stay away from the dairy. And here is another one that another advisory we can get into. Here we go. Same website. Give her a shout out.
So give me good love.
I'll run it back.
So give me good love.
All right. So they're saying these are some real interesting ways and some interesting advisories on how you shop for your fruits and vegetables. So one category she calls the dirty dozen. Best to buy organic, right? Dirty meaning, fruits and vegetables that come out of the ground. And or organic may cost a little bit more, but it's worth it. And then the clean 15, safe to buy in conventional supermarkets, farmers markets, etc. So let's look at the dirty dozen, right? Organic. Buy them organic, right? Strawberries farm to table, right? Strawberries, spinach, kale, collard greens, mustard greens. So all your greens can come straight out of the ground. Grapes, pears, peaches, nectarines, apples, bell peppers. That's why people go apple picking, strawberry picking. Bell peppers, hot peppers, cherries. Get the peppers in your life. Keeps the circulation going. Cherries are in season. Gobble those up. Great for sleeping. Blueberries and green beans. Also, the clean 15, avocados, sweet corn, pineapple season, gobble that up. Onions, papayas, sweet peas, asparagus, honeydew. It's almost honeydew season. Kiwi, just about kiwi season. Cabbage, mushrooms, sweet potatoes, mangoes, watermelon. It is watermelon. Watermelon season's running right around the corner. One of my favorite seasons. And carrots. Get that beta carotene for your skin and your eyes. Yeah, man. Let's get that going. Let's make that a mantra. Because a lot of people don't know, even if they do have a inkling or a want to shop, you know, clean and eat clean, they'll all get all their produce organic and pay a grip, or they'll buy all their stuff in conventional supermarkets, pay a grip, and now you know where you can get both at reasonable. You can search for them in reasonable ways. So shout out to that. Shout out to Maccabee about the fast food advisory. Make your fast food fruits and veggies, nuts and seeds, instead of the processed foods that give most of us disease. Like the show, subscribe to the show, comment, turn on all your notifications so that every time we have a Real HD show, you too can jump in and have a higher discussion. All right. This episode of the Real HD show is brought to you by Total Package Energy. Total Package Energy, vitamin B12, vitamin C, and no nano technology. That's right. Olympic tested, people approved. Bust that move. Get that zips, gels, powders, teas, waters, juices, all melanated company right out of New York. Go check them out. Total Package Energy. Tell them the Real HD show sent you. You will not be disappointed. All right. So we were in the middle of a AAT health report moment. We just got out of our elders and ancestors blueprint. And right now we're going to jump into our stolen legacy report. Here we go. Yeah, we are in the middle of our stolen legacy report. That is the information that is most vital to us, but has been hidden from us. And we want to go right into the historical Moor Madonna draped in fine jewelry. So if you think that us wanting to wear gold and silvers and diamonds and rubies and emeralds was something of the hip hop generation invention, you would be wrong, because there's a black Moorish sister that was in these Americas way before the colonization of America. And we're going to talk about her tonight on the Real HD show. Here we go. You can find her in.
This is a Temukua Indian too. This is one of the most famous. This is called the Moor with the Emerald Cluster. This was made in the late 1600s or 1700s. And it's depicting an Indian chief from Florida from 1562. 63, 64. That's when these Indians were first encountered, northeast Florida. Notice that. Gold teeth even. Come on. They was kings, people. We was kings. You know, Rick Ross was right when he said, I think it was him, said, you know, we've always liked the bling. We've always liked flashy, you know, stuff like that. That's in our DNA. We can't help it. You can't take that out of us, you know? This could be good evidence for that. That is exactly what a black person would dress up like in ancient America, you know? Flavor Flav.
All right, now if you can ignore the hyperbole coming from the Anglo-Saxon, he did a very good job of talking about the Moorish mother, queen, if you will, who lived in the 1560s. And as they encountered conquistadors and all of the sailors, Amerigo Vespucci and the like, that came over on boats to adorn the American shores and create the lineage of terrorism and slavery and all the rest of it, they encountered a woman dressed in superfine jewels, offering abundances of food. So their accounts of savagery would be absolutely false. And you would have to know that that's fairly accurate, that you could find those elements here, fine jewels, abundance of food, because then why did all of Europe turn right back around and begin to industrialize and create a mercantile uh, economy in the Americas that they called the 13 colonies that eventually led to America becoming a country. And all of Europe wanted in on that. They thought they were in the East Indies when it was actually America, or the land of Turtle Island. And now they know that there was, there were civilized people here. There were people with knowledge of self and civilization, consciousness, spirituality, all the things that they wanted. We just weren't willing to be savages like them in order to live and be prosper. And those brothers and sisters back then shared with the Europeans. And maybe naivete, it would be our issue, and not all of the rest of the vices that Europeans had. Very, very interesting, very, very true, coming from the Real HD Show to you. The Real HD Show is also brought to you tonight by Redeem Vacations. Bring any 5 people to the Real HD Show, courtesy of yourself. They subscribe, they become a listener. They are entitled to win a gift certificate to either a dining experience, a hotel, or a staycation in the United States, and courtesy of the Real HD Show and Redeem Vacations. So bring them on in, bring them out, bring them out. It's vacation season coming up. Right after prom season and wedding season is vacation season, and y'all want to be involved with that. All right, man. So we are in the midst of doing all our segments before we get into power to the people news. And just like always, we have to do our Lit City Report. Here we go. Yeah, we are in the middle of a Lit City Report. The wild, the wacky, the wonderful thing that keeps our, world go around, because we need levity and we need joy. We deal with so many, crazy things on a regular basis. We deal with so many controversial things. It's great to have some joy and some levity in what we do and what we contribute to. And we had a super elder who made his transition just recently. Super elder that just made his recent transition. And I'm talking about jazz artist Sonny Rollins. That's right, jazz artist Sonny Rollins. And we want to give a salute to him. We want to acknowledge all that he's done. He has a super indelible career that is available and left much for us to, lean into, do the knowledge to, and to actually make a part of our living life and habits. And I'm trying to find that right now. I think I'm gonna grab it, put it on. Stay with me, family. Here we go. Sonny Rollins just made his transition to elder status, and we want to give that brother a fond farewell.
What we're doing out here, that's keeping the world together. This is what we call jazz. That's keeping this world in equilibrium. Jazz.
Legendary jazz saxophonist Sonny Rollins, dubbed the Saxophone Colossus, has died at the age of 95, according to his publicist. The two-time Grammy winner pioneered thematic improvisation and is credited with transforming modern jazz in his 7 decades-long career. He released more than 60 albums, collaborated with artists including Miles Davis and Charlie Parker, and composed jazz standards such as Olio and St. Thomas, a calypso-infused number that was deemed an instant classic by his contemporaries in the 1950s. Rollins was honored by President Barack Obama in 2011 with the National Medal of the Arts. He was later chosen as a Kennedy Center honoree.
It's meant everything to me, and it's such a great honor to be able to play and people like me. It's amazing. You know, my fans are saying, Sonny, it's amazing. Who knew that I'd ever get this? It's wonderful. I'm very privileged. I'm very fortunate. I'm very blessed. This is
All right. And that was the epitaph from a great brother, Sonny Rollins, right here on the Real HD show. He passed away just recently. And whenever one of our giants, one of our greats, he lived till 95. 95. Still blowing, still doing his thing. If he could pick up that saxophone hammer and rock it, he was going to do it. Here's a picture of the great brother. You saw him in the video. Here's a picture of him. Here's some of his discography that we can get into. Let me blow it up. I'll read out some of the albums. Like they said, he did numbers with Dizzy. He did numbers with Miles Davis, Saxophone Colossus in 57, The Bridge in 62, Way Out West in 57, The Night at the Village in 55. So shout out to him. He was on the score of the movie Alfie, the great movie Alfie, in 66. East Broadway Rundown, Nuke's Time in 59. It's like he put out an album almost every year. Sonny Rollins 1, Sonny Rollins 2, which are his greats. Work Time, What's New, Our Man in Jazz, the next album, Moving Out, Sound of Sonny, Sunny Side Up. He did so many jazz albums. And of course, if you live to 95 and you keep playing for that length of time, then you're going to do and be featured in a lot of greatness as well. We got more. We're not done with the ragamuffin stuff because we're talking about Sonny Collins. You know, he was a Wes Montgomery of ours. He was a Dizzy. He was a Miles. He was a Coltrane of ours. Horn Culture in 73. Easy Living in 77. The solo album in 85. This Is What I Do in the year 2000. The Way I Feel. The Cutting Edge in 74. Let's Go 74. Feeling in Love with Jazz, 89. The Real Life in 82. Sonny Meets Hawk in 63. Sonny Boy in 61. Don't Ask in 79. Sonny Please in 2006. Global Warming in 98. Old Flames in 93. Sunny Days, Starry Nights in 84. G-Man in 87. Love at First Sight in 1980. And No Problem in 82. And there's more where that came from. He played with the likes of Sonny Sitt, John Coltrane, Max Roach, Charlie Bird, all of the greats of jazz. He had a hand in their journey. He had a hand in their musical exploits. And he was one of our jazz music giants and greats. And we owe him a super duper thanks. And I believe Tribe Called Quest that taught the hip hop world how to fuse jazz along with Gangstar, how to fuse jazz into hip hop and make it global. They sampled a lot of Sonny Rollins, a lot of his saxophone riffs. I believe Verses from the Abstract had a saxophone riff in there. I believe We Got the Jazz had a Sonny Rollins saxophone riff in there. So if you love hip hop, then you love Sonny Rollins because everybody was, dubbing his stuff to make new and innovative hip hop. So peace to that brother. Um, Peace to that brother. You were a titan and a giant amongst us. And we'll study from what you've done, man, to make the world a better place moving forward. All right. So that was our Lit City report. Oh, how could I forget? New York City takeover. Yeah. We got to talk about damn Knicks. So, congratulations to the New York Knickerbockers, my New York Knicks, you know what I'm saying? Rocking with them since 1980 as a fan. You know what I'm saying? We're going back to the NBA Finals. That's right. The Sweep Kings are going to the NBA Finals. What do I mean by the Sweep Kings? Well, the Sweep Kings basically came through and boxed up Atlanta, swept them out the door, swept them Hawks out the door. Boxed up Philly, swept them out the door. And also boxed up what would you call it? The recently the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I mean sweep. I mean 4-0, 4-0, 3-0. We ain't playing with these people. We here for the long haul. We here to get it how we live it. We New Yorkers, we love that energy. We love that Nick energy. We always riding crazy. And we are the most rabid NBA fans in the world. And there are some things happening in regards to the Knicks celebrating 30 years of almost 30 years of not being able to reach the NBA Finals and win a championship. Haven't won a championship since the 70s. So, I mean, we are celebrating some really real dog years of not being able to celebrate our Knicks. We do, but we celebrate them with the little caveat of not having won the big one because of a call here, a move there, a reference here, a play there. And, sometimes it was just, superior competition. But, a lot of times we were on the edges and in the hairs, in the crosshairs of, what was expected and performance wise as a ball club. Everybody remember John Starks and everything that went on with him. Um, I'm looking for the shot that I created yesterday that would describe it, and I don't see it right now. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna continue talking about it. So everybody remember John Starks, and everybody said, "Well, why did Pat Riley let him take all them damn shots? Why didn't he just turn him into an assist machine?" So when they came and converged on him, he could get somebody else open to potentially make a shot. You know what I mean? So we've suffered through some pretty bad ups and downs with these Knickerbockers and stayed loyal, stayed into the soil. You know what I mean? That is the New York Knicks. If you're from New York City, you know what we talking about. You know how that works. So we about to get a quick clip of this, and then we'll show it, and then we will get into what's really happening, boots on the ground, because um, there's some controversy going on with the mayor's office in terms of these celebrations. Say it ain't so, man. Yeah, it's so. They might be talking out of both sides of their neck. You know what I mean? And trying to make sense while and trying to, dupe you while doing it. Can't talk out of both sides of your neck and then try to dupe the people while doing it. They waited too long. They struggled too hard. They wanted this way too bad. And we're here to talk about our Knickerbockers for a moment, if you will. Um, because it's worth it. So outside of the garden, there are some pretty crazy Nick fans. I mean, we are on the rafters, we are on the street lights, we hanging from the poles, we going crazy, man. We got chicks doing push-ups, in honor of the Knicks, and we got chicks doing pull-ups on street corners and in honor of the Knicks. And we want to bring that to you, but the police don't want to give permits out and the city officers don't want to give permits out because they're saying that the fans are acting way too reckless. You know what I mean? And, that's going to happen. You're in New York. That's going to happen. And my thing is, why haven't the police already prepared for this eventuality if you know where this is going? Why haven't the police office, already said, this is what we're doing? Let's go ahead and make sure that these people could do what they do safe instead of trying to hamper what's going on. So here's a picture of the mayor's office and some of the controversy that's going on with it. Because then after the police tried to, dissuade and prevent permits from happening in live time, the mayor's office came out, a representative came out and said, no, we're going to let this happen. We're going to let this ride. We're going to let the people party and celebrate the Knicks. The mayor is a Knicks fan. We think it brings the people together instead of tearing them apart. And then Mondani had to go up against the policemen's union and the police commissioner of New York City. Now, this is what I said earlier when Mondani was getting elected. I was like, yo, we are going to find out just where the rubber meets the road with this dude, because he could promise us every good thing in the world, but once you hit the conduit and you have to adhere to the rules and to the unspoken agreements and to the unspoken glass ceiling of what being a mayor and a governor and an elected official in New York really is like, will you have the chutzpah, will you have the balls, will you have the gall to stand on what you promised? And now we are seeing that very well may change. So the word is there will be celebrations all over the city, maybe not just out of Madison Square Garden. Now, I got a question, and it's an obvious one. So y'all play along at home. Do y'all really believe that the mayor and the police are going to keep thousands upon thousands of Knicks fans from celebrating outside of the Garden? Are you crazy? You must be out your rabbit ass mind if you think that's what's going to happen. You're crazy. You're crazy. You 30 years of basketball emptiness and voidness, and you think because you got to go head up with the commissioner on the celebrations that you're going to stop New Yorkers from all over the state, all over the country, from celebrating the New York Knicks going to the NBA Finals, hoping to win it. You got another thing coming. Peace, brother Mozzie. How you doing? Good, bro?
I'm doing all right, man. How's it going?
Yeah, man. Good, brother. We just celebrated this cat right here, man. Sonny Rollins, the saxophone colossus.
Yeah.
Took his great walk with the ancestors, bro. 95. You lived a great life, man. That's a long life.
That's a long life. I was a big Rollins fan probably when I was about, I want to say 16, 17. I got quite a bit in my collection.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't understand guys like himself and what they gave to create, to move the culture, spirituality, music, what they did to move guys like that, moved it to a level that no one's seemed to have attained since.
Correct. Over 100 albums, bro.
Hey, that's not bad, man. And think about that.
That's
he hasn't
good work
really
if
put
you
out
get
any
it.
albums. He hasn't put out any albums probably in the past 20 years. So you're
Right.
talking about, maybe a 50-year period where this guy was doing an album, at least 2 albums a year.
Yeah, man.
Think about that.
Right, because I was just showing some of his discography, and he got 2-3 albums a year, just kind of rock, just kind of banging it out, and had the time to get with Max Roach and Charlie Parker and Dizzy and Coltrane and do all that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Giant, man, giant. And I was connecting with the people on
Guys
hip
don't
hop
understand.
because if you
We've
like,
gotten away from we've gotten away from the music of making music.
yes,
Now we just create beats and stuff like that. But if we got back to making music, it'll raise our consciousness,
agreed.
and it'll put us into a like one of the things they should talk about with Sonny Rollins and Coltrane is sometimes they would play this one note over and over and over. And what happened there, you started getting into what they call overtones in music. And then, with Coltrane and Sonny Rollins and guys like that, they were looking to find the God principle within the music itself and that note.
Oh, let's go.
So
Let's
they would definitely take it
find the
to
missing note at the crossroads, right?
There you go, man. There you go.
You got proposition Legba for the missing note at the crossroads.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Woo.
And he was one of the ones, though. One of the cool things about him is that I don't think he ever got caught up into the scene because, it seemed like a lot of musicians went through that heroin phase.
Yeah. He lived through it, though. He was there. He was there. So if he, if he had that Shaolin monk discipline, I get it.
Yeah, but it was real hard, man. Because one of the things that happened with a lot of these guys and why they went, and this is just my own kind of what I think happened, is that when you look at a Charlie Parker, Charlie Parker was doing stuff in the music that even till this day hasn't been duplicated.
Not at all.
And when that happens, and when you got people doing stuff like that, he had to slow down.
Yeah.
And that was the only substance that allowed him to actually slow down and actually get in touch with what he was doing.
Yes, sir.
And that sounds kind of crazy. Like I'm going to take this drug that's going to slow me down. But at the same time, it allowed me to get in touch with what I was doing.
That reminds me of the scene in Mo Better Blues when, Denzel's character, I forget his name in Mo Better Blues. Was it Miles? No, what was his name?
No, he was, he had a weird name, man. It's one of them names you wouldn't think about. Shoot.
Well, it was Denzel Washington's character.
Right.
After they, after the gangsters busted him in the mouth and jacked him up, and he was in that kind of monk mode where he was in his room just surrounded by jazz and just he kind of went a little stir crazy over it, trying to, because of course he thought his life was kind of over because he couldn't play anymore.
Right, because he had a busted lip.
Yeah, his lip was all jacked up and he couldn't do anything, and his hands were beat up too. Because they busted him in his knuckles and broke his fingers and all type of stuff. And
but with the trumpet in particular, just so people know, you can get the fingers back right because you're only using 3 technically. It's the lip because you have to tighten that lip and vibrate.
That tightness in the lip. Yep. That tightness in the lip. Yep. And I never played the saxophone, but I was really, really good playing the trumpet growing up. And trumpet and the drums. Those are my 2 things.
Well, we always like to joke around and say I went to the School of the Arts, the real School of the Arts, the original School of the Arts here, because it was a magnet school and it used to be behind Monroe. It was that little school, and so that was a little school behind Monroe, which was actually the magnet school itself.
Right.
And people who we just had to be good. I don't know what they do now, but there was all types of bands and singers and stuff like that, man, that was in the school when I was coming up. So, I learned to play all the brass instruments. I was good in all the brass instruments. Started out with the trumpet in the 5th grade, but then I switched over to woodwind and learned all the woodwind instruments also. And I
Oh,
read
I
music.
see. I didn't
You
get
know,
that
that was
far into it.
yeah. No, I read music
I
the
had
whole
my
9
little,
yards.
had my little Casio. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
Had my trumpet, and then drums at the church. So that, that's kind of how it worked out. Yeah. Graham Duke
Yeah,
said,
yeah. Well, you know,
Graham Duke
remember I
said, "You
told
gonna do
you.
something. You gonna do something here." That's how I give me them
Yeah.
sticks.
Well, you know, also too, music ran in my family a lot. My grandmother
Yes,
was a classically trained pianist.
fire, fire.
So, you know, music was just one of those things, man. You just did, you know.
Yeah,
And so yeah, man. So when you look at a giant, I remember listening to Sonny Rollins as a little kid, man. And it's funny because when I talk to people and they say, well, Michael Jackson growing up, and I'm like, honestly, I didn't really listen to Michael Jackson growing up. Yes, you
mm,
did. You know, people gonna tell you what you did, and I'm like, nah, you can't tell me what I did, man. You know, that's no difference in telling the person who grew up in like a Pentecostal household. If they said they weren't listening to Michael Jackson, people would accept it. But because I
yeah.
didn't say I
Se-
grew up
or
in
or a Jehovah Witness household.
right.
7-day Adventist. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, my
you
family
knew what
was
that was
Seventh Day
about.
Adventist, but my family was a Seventh Day Adventist family.
Oh, were they
Um,
okay?
I don't know if you remember that big church on Jefferson that burnt down.
No, I wasn't
There was
familiar.
a big
See, I
Seventh
used
Day.
to come up. I used to come up. See, my uncle lived on Woodbine.
Get out of
My
here.
uncle BJ, he lived on Woodbine,
Get
and we
out of
would come up
here.
and we would come up. Maybe every year, every other year, and we would do Kwanzaa with the family on Woodbine, and
Get
then
out
go
of here,
back. He
man.
on one of them big old tree reaching houses on Woodbine, one of them big things,
Yeah.
one big old things. You got a whole apartment in the attic type joint.
Right. Right.
So I wasn't super familiar with everything going on, but
Well,
I
this
came
church
up
just
there
burned
quite a
down a
bit.
few years ago
Oh, okay,
on
okay.
Christmas Day.
Oh,
It's a
wow,
big on Jefferson Avenue.
that's sad. Yeah.
I know, man. You're East Sider. You don't go to the West Side.
I'll be on Jeff. I'll be on Jeff. I'll be on Jenny. I'll be on Thurston. Hey man, my cousin ST, Serious Times. He's over there on Thurston, so I'll be going over there
Okay.
quite a
Okay.
bit, quite a bit, quite a bit.
Yeah. Well, so the music thing, man, was always big, especially in the Seventh Day Adventist Church. Music was big, but my grandmother, and family members. I had a family member who had his own record label in New York back in the 50s and the 60s, I
Right,
think. So music has always just been one of those things. So in terms of what was played in the house, it depends on who house she was at, and because my
right,
mother was a teenage mom. I was with my grandmother during the day while my mother was in school. So I listened to the classics.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why when I explain to folks, nah, man, I wasn't listening to that stuff growing up. They're like, yeah, she was. I'm like, man, I know what my grandmother was playing. She was playing the Sonny Rollins. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Or, she would always play for me I always knew when it was nap time because she used to always play for me. So she sit me on the
Ah.
sofa and then she'll start playing.
That's so
And,
interesting, man. Because when I used to teach preschool, that's all I put on for my kids when it was nap time. Was
hmm
jazz, and that would
Yeah,
mellow them right out. That would mellow them right out. Them kids asleep for 2 hours.
there you go, man.
They
And
get
I
that
tell you,
jazz, that it hit that spinal cord, it hit that nervous
hmm
system. Them jokers be sleep.
and be sleeping good too.
Shout out to Head Start.
What's interesting? Interesting story. When the wife was pregnant with our daughter, I would always play some Alice Coltrane. I would take the
Mm.
headphones and I
Hmm.
would put them on her belly,
Right.
and my daughter would just move.
Oh
And
wow.
then I got it wrong. She used to be moving around a lot. And
Okay.
then I would put the headphones on. She would move a little bit, man, like she was getting in position, and then she wouldn't move anymore.
She was chilling. She was
She was
mellowing out.
chilling. And when she
Mellowing
came
out.
home from the hospital, her birthday is in August, and it's still really hot in
Uh-oh.
August.
Let's go, Leo family.
And when one time she was like really uncomfortable. And when you're a new parent with your first child, you don't know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, you know what? Hold on, let me try something. I went, man, put on that same Alice Coltrane, Journey into Sachin Jindada, and she just mellowed out. She just stood there. Beady had big old eyes just staring off into the wild blue yonder, man. And she stopped moaning and groaning and wiggling and all that. And she just sat there. And then all of a sudden, she just fell asleep.
So here's a question for you. Is she musically inclined?
This is the craziest story, man.
Okay.
My daughter ain't got no rhythm, man. She got no rhythm, man.
Yeah.
She did play, we put her in dance when she was little. And I remember we was doing this. They were like, oh my gosh, she dances so well. And I'm sitting there like, she's in the dance class with a bunch of these little white tee girls, man. Of course she looked like she can dance. But then as she got a little older and she was doing some more dance, I was like, ooh. We were like, I don't know if this is gonna work. So we put her in piano. So she she took to the piano and she was good with the piano. And then she was like, I don't want to play the piano no more. Right. So she got into martial arts, and that was kind of her thing. But the funny thing was she did pick up the clarinet when she was in elementary school, and she played that all the way through. But, she got a melanated dad and a melanated mother who is of the Latino Caribbean origin.
Oh, so that should have been on deck.
Listen, man, we go down to the family down in Bushwick, man, and Abuela's playing some salsa, and everybody in there dancing, and my daughter just couldn't get it, man.
Oh, stop it.
I kid you not, man. I won't lie, though. I won't lie.
Oh,
around 16, it clicked. She can salsa her butt off. But you throw on some hip hop or some R&B, it just don't click on her, man. I don't know what the issue is.
That's all right.
We joke about it all the time about, her and her dancing, man, which is it's just funny. She it has to be certain music, otherwise she ain't got it.
I was telling the family at large that, if you heard hip hop in the 80s, they owe a big, thanks to this brother, Tribe Called Quest.
Oh, yeah.
Jazz Mataz, the jazz album, the 2 jazz albums that they did. So many jazz artists. It was like the foundation of what moved hip hop along musically was the fusion of jazz into hip hop. So if you've ever heard We Got the Jazz by Tribe Called Quest or In the City by Guru or, a lot of the early Gangstar stuff, you're going to hear all that in there. You're going to hear a bunch of Sonny Rollins. You're going to hear a ton of his stuff. A bunch of Sonny Rollins runs and licks in that joint. So you're welcome. Go listen to that. It's old at this point. It's 50 years old at this point. But this brother's magic is much, much older and much more worth your time checking out the original origin and the source. All right, man. I'm glad you're on, man. Let's get into Power to the People news. Wait, what just happened? This just happened. So a lot of things are cracking right now in the news. And I call them Trump's battery in the back of white USA. And the reason why I say that, bro, is we went through the Jesse Jackson decades. We went through the 90s and the 2000s, 2010s. And it was a behavioral code that white people had to honor because they knew they were coming off of the tailwinds of the civil rights movement, the black power movement, correct?
Yes.
But now they don't feel that they have to do those things anymore because Trump done put a battery in their back and got them all revved up and charged up to do some of the most insidious, horrible, deplorable shit known to man. And we got a couple things rocking right here on the Real HD Show. And we're going to show you, for all those that are confused about who they should be putting their allegiance into and who they should be revering and whose side they should be on, we got some things for you. So we wanted to show you first this joint going on overseas. Let's see, where's that at? I'll play that afterwards. And where's the joint with the dogs? Okay, here we go. So, we got the Gaza conflict, we got the conflict in Iran, and it's all centered around Israel's relationship to the United States. And if you listen to this show before, that brother Mozzie was actually on, and we were talking about G4S and how they were linked to the paramilitaristic training that goes on in Tel Aviv and overseas. That Israel, those culprits in Israel are doing. Let's look at the latest and the greatest of what they're doing, Mozzie, in that same regard. Here we go. Check it out right here on the Real HD Show. Power to the people news. Let's be informed.
Your report is the use of dogs to rape male detainees. There's other evidence around this now as well. How solid and widespread is the evidence for that particular crime now?
Yes, actually, this is not the first time that we documented cases of dogs abusing, or trained dogs actually abusing or raping Palestinian detainees inside Israeli jails. One detainee told us that he was detained, of course, in Sdeti Man, and this is where most of the violations occur. He said that they took a group of detainees and me to the corridor between the sections and forced us to strip completely naked. The soldiers brought in several dogs. One of them urinated on me. One of the dogs then raped me, penetrated my anus in a trained manner when I was being beaten. This continued for several minutes. I felt profoundly humiliated and violated. Other, of course, men, we met, said that after they were raped by the soldiers, they also were raped by dogs in the very same day. And this is something that also confirms that this is a systematic policy, because no army trains dogs on raping humans unless this is something that is accepted by the highest rank in the authority.
A friend of mine, childhood friend actually, was stationed at this Deteyman base. And at that time, I was a fairly passionate Zionist, supporter of Israel. And he told me, listen, there's things going on in this Deteyman prison that you will absolutely not believe. They're so awful. I had seen the reports that dogs had been used to sexually assault inmates in Deteyman. So I just asked them about it. And to my, I guess, surprise, horror, they both confirmed it. One said that he'd seen dogs being used, and the other said that he'd heard talk about dogs being used. From my experience, when inmates in Israeli prisons testify to something, it is true. And it almost always is confirmed by the fact. After Zionists and Israel supporters deny it and say that it's just hearsay, it's almost always supported by the facts. Believe the victims, especially when there's seven.
All right, there we go. You still with us, Brother Mozzie?
I'm here, man.
Yeah, man. So that's some craziness going on over there. So when you thought it was about some, Star Wars and AI drones and all the rest of it, you got these clowns over there raping people with dogs, training dogs how to rape people. What say you on that subject, bro?
Well, Caucasian people have always had a weird relationship with their animals.
Mm-hmm.
And they have trained them to do a variety of things.
Right.
Up in, I think, in some of the Nordic countries, Sweden, in those areas, forget which country, but, bestiality is big. And also there was a law passed about 10 years ago in which you are allowed to marry your pet if you want to.
I remember that. Yes,
remember
sir.
That?
Wow.
So
yes.
I'm not surprised But for people who are listening and being very squeamish, that should tell you the ethos of these people.
Yes.
And their modus operandi. I mean, think about, in the book, The Delectable Negro.
Yep.
Not only was there homoeroticism, but they also ate the people.
Yes.
And think about that. You have sex with them, you kill them, you eat them. If you're willing to do that, I'm not surprised what you see with these dogs, man.
It's
or
a
what they're
good point
doing
that
with these dogs.
it's a good point that you brought up about the legislation behind bestiality, because I got something to show y'all real quick, and I'm gonna pull it up real fast. Here we go, Real HD Show. Check it out, 2026.
Why we need Trump and MAGA. White culture is under attack. What the fuck you mean Louisiana just banned bestiality? What do you mean white people can't fuck their dogs anymore? Are you fucking kidding me? I see why they're flipping out. I see why they need Trump, because suddenly we're talking about killing pedophiles. We're talking about banning pedophilia. We're talking about banning bestiality. We're talking about stopping this is insane. Just like that, everybody wants to come to America and cancel white culture. What is this nonsense? Shout out to the 10 Republicans who stood 10 toes down to save white culture, but ultimately they failed. But damn, this is crazy, man.
Well, don't worry about his banter. I just wanted to show the fact that they were undecided and clashing over whether bestiality was something they were going to allow in their state or not.
Well, and what's interesting is
like that was like that's even something to think about.
Well, it is, because if you look at their base, you will find within that base, these people, they do some strange things with the animals.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'll tell you a story. My freshman year, I roomed with this white kid who was from somewhere in central New York. And one of the things that he used to talk about, him and another guy who was across the hall, they were both from central New York, and they grew up on farms. And they used to talk about, rubber duckies all the time. I'm like, rubber duckies? Come to find out, he said, yeah. He said a lot of guys kids who grow up on these farms, white people, their first sexual experience is with their sheep.
Yes.
Because what they do is they walk up behind them, they stick their legs in the rubber boots. They can't get away. They can't do anything but just stay there because their legs are stuck in these boots.
Oh, wow.
And then they go ahead and pop them one.
Wow.
And I'm looking at these dudes like, y'all serious, man? And, it even almost made me think that maybe they tried it already.
And at Hofstra, there was certain fraternities that would do that as like a hazing technique, a hazing event for the other, for the white fraternities at Hofstra.
Mm-hmm.
And I always wondered where the hell they got sheep from in the middle of Hempstead. Where the hell you get sheep from? But they got them. And then once it happened, they'll run all over the campus naked, like they losing their goddamn minds. It was a wild situation. Wild situation. But on a seriouser note, they're training American police. They're training ICE. They're giving them the paramilitaristic techniques to set up perimeter, how to deal with crowd populations, and this is within the structure of what they're teaching the people.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're not treating you with any humanity, do not be surprised.
Yeah.
Do not be surprised. Do not be surprised. And all this stuff is coming out, like what the Hasidic Jews were doing underground with the kids and all of that, and harvesting the organs and all of that in Brooklyn. Man, crazy business, man. Crazy.
Yeah, underneath the building with secret.
Yeah, man.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. Did you heard about this Chud the Builder guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
See,
And you know, his
what
sexual
bothered
proclivity.
me about him? Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. Rock
Oh
out.
no, just about his, you know, the word on whether or not he was gay or not.
Right, right. But he was giving them sisters that Riz. There was some sisters, right? And you know, the new favorite pastime is to get them a white mascot, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
pretend like he's the bee's knees, pretend like he's the ish, you know, simply because you got you a white boy, you know. But
Yeah.
Reza Islam has some things to say in regard to this. Let's check it out.
How serious are you really? You will quickly say, if somebody come over here and do this, yeah, rah, rah, rah. White people would respect us more if we check them when they disrespect us. It's over with. Some of us ain't with that. Call her that and see what we do. Jump on my brother and see what happened to you. And mean it. But don't do it when it's just selective. Don't just do it when it's one person. This white supremacist got a semi-automatic rifle blatantly let you know, yeah, I'm a fascist, I'm a white supremacist. I did this because I hate niggas. And he said he was inspired by the other white supremacists because I don't want to be bred out of existence. I don't want y'all to replace us. Well, damn. What does that mean? You don't want us to replace you in this world. We shouldn't want this world anyway. You want this government that allows pedophilia, that allows sex trafficking, that allows organ trafficking of your children, that allows your women to be murdered, raped. There's over 75,000 black women still missing and you ain't doing shit about it. You want this world. Why don't you build your own? That's what we should be doing. I don't want this. This is a sick as hell world that is hell itself. I don't want that. I want my own. That's how we really do this. And if they see us building our own, as many of us are doing in certain areas, it's happening. And we securing it, we're protecting it. That's how you really get their attention. That's how you really defeat this system. Well, now I'm not saying be afraid of nobody. No, be ready to defend yourself whenever, where. Be ready to defend yourself. But that means you may have to smoke a little less. You may have to drink a little less. You may have to start getting your rest. You may have to start eating better, exercising and really training them, like I said, martial arts, boxing, etc. But for real, if you want to go there, it's like, all right, you want to talk, let's talk. Those of us who are involved in helping the people, we think of it on that type of layer. It ain't just react. They want you to react. They know you are well within your rights to react, but you're not prepared. They ain't prepared. That's why they do what they do. I'ma smack that right now. I know he gonna get mad and haul off and punch me, but the camera was off when I slapped him. The camera gonna turn on when he punched me. They're going to jail. Gotcha.
So the issue with Chud was I don't know if you kept up with it in the news, bro. He you know, let off and tried to shoot the brother and wound up shooting himself.
Yeah, I didn't pay much attention to it.
Yeah.
But
and got arrested.
I did hear that he was arrested for attempted murder.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I was, you know, RZA called it out, man. We got a couple of things that we have to talk about and deal with. But, you know, we are so happy that weed is legal that, you know, we ain't thinking about nothing else.
Right. Nah, real talk. Real talk.
You know, I think Killer Mike even said it. So how many of y'all in here got a legal gun and can shoot it? How many of y'all, if you ain't have no electricity in your house and you got to go live off the grid for a little while, how many of us going to be able to make it?
Did you see my episode when I went through the whole checklist? The whole, you know, survival ready checklist piece? Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, I did that on the show a couple of weeks back. It was a good one. I'm gonna go back to it though. It was a good checklist. They talked about where the local water table is, how to find that, you know, a lot of stuff, how to fortify your home in case of a riot or some sort of catastrophe that way.
You know, one of the first books I got introduced to that talked about that was Enemy's Class of Races by Hakeem Adabudi. Yes. And he had in that book, you know, everything you need to have and things you need to do to be ready for all of this.
Yeah. I got to go back to a lot of his works, man. When I used to work at the bookstore in Hempstead, and I used to work for Shelley and Ani, and when they had their bookstore in Baldwin, I couldn't read all his books enough. I wanted
Hmm.
more. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
shout out to him, man, and all his great works.
Well, and then the other thing that, with us that we still is missing, man. And I thought it would come out more under Trump is, our opportunity to build for ourselves. It's happening in small pockets, but we really ain't getting it because we're trying to build still on building like Black Wall Street, for example. It was more saying than an actual being or doing, and it was built on us not really engaging in like Wall Street and things of that nature. It was everybody selling incense, skincare products, restaurant,
Yeah.
you hear you see where I'm going with that? So we
Yeah,
haven't really
absolutely.
thought it through in terms of what we need to have to build to create our own self-sustaining communities. And as long as we're like that, we're going to be susceptible to the chuds or chubs or whatever his name was of the world, because we're not going to be in a position where emotionally as well as intellectually, we're not going to know what to do when someone does something like that to us.
Right.
And then the other piece is, as a lot of this other stuff is going on, I mean, if you one of the kids who's graduating from college, getting ready to go to college, is it really worth it if you're not going into the arenas where the future is? We're still sending our kids, and because we got to get over that. Especially the Gen Xers, it's something to say we went to college, and now our kids are going to college.
Right.
And it's easy for me to say because my kids went to college, but that's not where we need to be, man. We have to really start focusing in on what's going to create and cause us to survive. Because you look at all the indicators, man. We may not make it in the next 4 or 5 years.
Hey, real quick, I want to give a shout out to CJI because they're having a Austin Stewart Day coming up. Pioneer of Rochester, pioneer of the
Yeah.
abolitionist movement, period. And I want to shout out what they're doing for that great brother. So I want to put this up really quick as soon as I can find it. There we go. So shout out to them. Shout out to CJI and all that they're doing. Go support what they're doing for Austin Stewart Day. So I'll read out what's going on with it. So it's the fifth annual Austin Stewart Day celebrating Rochester's first businessman and freedom fire, July 2nd, 2026, 5 p.m. to 6:45 at the Arnett Library on the West Side. Vendors are welcome. Seeking donations, see Cash App, $ CJI 520. Hit them up. They're on Facebook and they're on Instagram. You can connect with them if you want to have something to do with the vending or the actual demonstration that they're putting on, the event itself. Go celebrate them and go fellowship and be in community, man. Let's celebrate Brother Austin Stewart and create some more Austin Stewarts. How about that?
Right. We got to hopefully, you can, for those of us who feel like we may be on the fringes, hopefully if I be there, you'll be able to find some like-minded people to find your community. Because that's very important right now, because we live in this world of, everyone's getting their dopamine from all this artificial intelligence. And, computers and video games and all that. And so now they get the opportunity to realize that they're not alone in some of their thinking. So please come out and support. it's important that we support things that are ours, because we do complain a lot that there's nothing for us, but there are things for us. We just have to, turn off some of these devices and actually get up and go to some of these events and support them. Just like everyone should be supporting the Real HD show.
Hey, let's do that. Let's do that. If you want to support the Real HD show, you can hit it, $, the Real HD show. On Cash App. You can hit me up. 5, 10s, 20s, 100s. Let's get it going. We may be moving to 108 Soul on Sirius FM. So get ready to check that out. Moving into bigger and better things. So get ready to hear us on Sirius FM. All the Real HD TV broadcast TV shows. We got the Simply Supreme Teen Show. We got Broadcast Beat Show. We got the In the Bonus Basketball Show. And we also have our book show. You can hear the audio version of those things along with watching us on 108 Soul. So get ready for that. All right, man. Let's keep it moving, man. There's also more ways that Trump has put a battery in the back of these so-called folks. Have you heard about the Florida teacher who simulated a lynching in her classroom?
Vaguely.
Yeah, she basically put something together and actually called it a joke. So she had melanated students in her classroom, and she put together a demonstration that, let's see if I have it on here. Nope. On there.
And what's her rationale? That's what I want to understand.
Yeah,
here.
Yeah, she basically didn't have one. She thought it was more of a lighthearted gesture. Within what she was doing. I don't know how the hell she could think that. And the kids even thought that was so funky and so out of ordinary and out of whack, that they had to record her doing the lesson, because they were like, what in the hell is this? What is she doing? Like, how in the hell is that? Where they do that at? Where they teach that? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, I found it. I didn't get a video, but I got a article. So let me grab that and pull that up. Boom, boom. All right. Pull that up. And there we go. So it says Florida teacher, middle school teacher fired after viral video shows her hanging a black baby doll from a classroom's TV monitor. So of course, this is sometimes their kind of wacky, foolish way of trying to teach something off the cuff, and then they don't even know that they're digging into their racist bag to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then especially when you have a state like Florida who has the legacy of the alligator, the alligators eating the babies and making that their state mantra. So there's the doll that was hanging, and I don't know if we need to know all of the rationale about it, but I know this stuff wasn't going on 20, 25 years ago. It just wasn't.
No.
Because they were too fearful of the response and the repercussion of what would happen. And now they feel like there's no response and repercussion for what they're doing. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that they think that this is such a wide open time period for them outside of Trump? Because he's bringing all of the racist crap out that was probably always there. or is being taught and preserved. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
And
the people
passed
just
down.
feel that, that the tide has changed in America and they can be them true selves.
Mm. And I know this is all symptomatic of racism and classism and what that all brings about in America. But why do we think that this for the people at home too? Hit me up, put it in the chat, timestamp it. Let me know in the comments. Let me know why you think this is all of a sudden okay for many folks to, you know, inundate themselves with. You know what I mean? And really kind of double down on when years ago this was never a thing. And
Yeah,
I mean,
well, they feel empowered, man. There's things that are happening in society as it relates to, them feeling as if they now are moving back into a power position. And so they just feel empowered.
here's a little clip from it. I did have a video. I think I found it.
I want her teaching certificate gone. I don't want her to be able to practice in another state. I don't want her to be able to do what she did to my child and the other many children in that classroom, to any other children, or to expose them to anything like that ever again. I don't care if it's another country. I want to make sure that it's gone by any means necessary.
And see, when they would argue with us, like I remember last year, they kind of did the annual, no, we will not put black as a permanent curriculum in New York State teaching. The United Teachers Union said no, again. And if you had black history and black culture being taught within the schools, do you think that would be a check and balance for things like that? At least from a planning and
It
a
depends on how
faculty
it's being
standpoint?
taught.
Right, right. But I mean, like, if you couldn't go into a meeting and think that you would, like she had to turn in a lesson plan with that in it, or some some simile of that in it, in order to get it passed. And it had to be done ahead of time. It had to be vetted. And if you're sitting in a meeting with other historians that would look and think differently than you, do you get away with the same lesson plan and curriculum? I don't think so.
It's a tough one, man. It's tough because sometimes, be honest, man, it just feels like there's no hope, man.
Oh, jeez.
Just because when I'm taking a break from social media because it seems like whenever I'm on, I'm seeing the kids out at the beach. I'm seeing the kids at downtown Detroit,
Yeah.
downtown Orlando.
Yeah.
And as you keep consuming that, you'll think that the taste and the flavor of that is that these are some crazy little motherfuckers, and they're like animals, and the only thing we can do is walk around and start wholesale killing these motherfuckers.
Wow. Now we're not gonna go there, but
it's been talked about.
I agree. It has been. It has
And
been.
then what way, and the way in which you make it such that people would do this, and people would kind of turn the blind eye and say, "Well, that's what they get. They ain't nothing but animals anyway." Is you keep showing this kind of stuff.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. Man.
Well, we know this is symptomatic of a larger problem.
Right. But I'm just saying, if
we always knew this is the thing.
Right. So, but the question was, do we think that, if we had, those historians there checking what's going on, the teachers that were, equipped with the knowledge, things of that nature. Will these things go on? I don't know. Probably not. But there's a good
Yeah.
chance that it would. But if we still have the kids acting the way they acted, what'll probably happen in most situations is there'll be one kid in there who may get pissed off, and the rest of them will just accept it as it is. Don't bother me. I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's
I
a
think we
sad
gotta.
it's a sad situation that, they're expressing themselves in a perilous moment. Like, if you can go to DC and see the kids doing that, what happened to them a couple of months ago? They had these folks come up into their communities and bang them upside the head and tell them you can't get off your porch until we tell you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And they're gonna do it to the wrong person. Bang bang. And then parents are gonna try and sue because you didn't have to shoot them.
Agreed.
Which
Agreed.
is,
It's definitely apathy by the I'll say it for lack of a better terms, electorate or civic grouping, our people not really demanding more and coming out and force more to enforce more. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And we have to start thinking about,
And I mean,
how.
nothing new to our show, but
Right. I'm just for those who don't know, and that may be getting it for the first time. We have to start holding our own accountable.
Mm-hmm.
It's vitally important if we're going to survive the future. Because one of the things that has happened to us is we've allowed for others to say, but it's okay, we'll find an excuse for you, i.e., liberal Democrats. And I'm not trying to make this a political argument, but it's what we see and what we know.
Right.
They say they find excuses why these kids are cutting up in the street than to hold them accountable. I don't mean throwing them in jail for 45 years, but this we're going to let you know we ain't tolerating this kind of behavior. And it has to start with us. And so the Gen Xers need to put the weed down, and come on from out the backyard smoking some cigars and eating some tomahawks because you got the fat house. Let's get out here and get our youth off the street.
Right. And at the very least, guide their energy, guide that energy that they got, help them build themselves up, help them develop themselves, help them aim that energy in something that's going to be productive for our people, man. Like, if they could do all of that, then they can do a gang of other more productive shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They could be a mini army for adults with a plan, with a strategy, with contingency. You know what I mean? Point them in a direction that is going to, fortify what we trying to get done. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Instead of just running around wild, go there and raise hell over there. And then we make our demands. Yo, you want to get them off your ass? Let's talk. Come to the table.
Let's
If
have some
not, they're
real
going to be
talk.
back next Tuesday.
Right. Let's have some real talk. Not that BS, but some real talking.
Yeah, let's put some real talk in. You don't want them on your ass, they'll be back next Tuesday. We tell them to come back, they're coming back. Oh yeah? Yeah. Now we can, we can get to the table with the Dems and the Republicans and whomever else, the local yokels, and get them to move off some shit. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, man. Man, we got so much more we wanted to get into. We got to get ready to shut it down for the evening, but I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Brother Mozzie. I want to thank all 108 people watching on Kick and on Twitch. Thank you for watching the Real HD Show. Check us out next Wednesday. We will be back, and we'll be updating y'all when we move to 108 Soul. That doesn't mean we won't be here, but we will be there as well. Shout out to the Comedy Store for making that opportunity available. And shout out to Brother Mozzie for joining us tonight. Thank you, bro. I know you weren't feeling too good, but you came through anyway. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
man.
Just trying to free up more time, man. So or at least get out earlier something, man. I doing these late nights outside the house, man, then rushing home.
It's all right, brother. You putting in that good work, man. And if you want to put in that good work, or at least that intellectual thought, or you want to come on and have a, melanated think tank, as it were, tune into the Real HD Show Wednesday at 8 p.m. And until then, walk with power. We out. Peace.
Later.